Hello, my name is Carly Snow, also known as Miss Snow to my students, and I am student teaching at Lynn Lastinger Elementary in Tifton, Georgia. The lesson took place last week. I did a Picasso lesson, and what I did was I included it into our arts center for the week. So each week, the students do centers with a work board, um, and they are able to go to the art center at least once a week, each group. So the groups range from 3 to 4 students, and so I was able to do this lesson in a small group, and I did it 5 different times. So I was able to really focus on showing the students step by step what they needed to do and how it needed to look. All of the students participated. I had 19 students who were able to complete the Picasso. Not all of them looked the best. Some of them looked better than others, but they are in kindergarten, and I was worried about them being able to understand it, but they ended up doing a really good job. So what went well with the lesson was them being able to understand step by step what they needed to do. I made sure to go through the slideshow with them, and I showed them step by step. I did along with them. I was modeling what they were needing to do. So I had my paper and I was drawing like a circle. When they needed to draw a circle, I was drawing an eye when they needed to draw an eye. So I was just showing them step by step what they needed to do, and it ended up working really well. Another thing that worked well was the groups as a whole. Because they were only in 3 to 4, I was able to have more one-on-one time with them, being able to show them what they needed to do next instead of just assuming that they were done. Like if it were done in a whole group lesson, I wouldn't know when each student was done, when each student was ready to move on to the next step. So using it in the art center, I think it worked really well. What did not go well, I would have to say, would be that some students were just not interested. They are kindergartners. They do like to draw and color, but they're not necessarily keen on drawing something that is directed, especially if it takes them a long time. So with the Picasso, it did not take a very long time, but the fact that they had to sit down, they had to draw it, I had them trace it with marker, and then they had to color it. It was sort of a long process, and they did not like it. So maybe next time I would probably break it up into 2 days so that they could draw, trace, and then color it the next day. That way they're just not so focused on getting it done, and they're not in a hurry to move on to the next thing, so that they spend some more time on it and they're not as rushed. What would I do to improve my teaching next time? Again, I would make sure I have a little bit more time for the students. Make sure that they understand what Picasso is. I explained to them a little bit about who Picasso was, his art. I showed them some different examples of art, and they're kindergartners. They can understand it, but I feel like I should have maybe printed out a coloring sheet of Picasso art and had them color it before they had to draw the Picasso face, just because I feel like that might have helped them to understand the style of art better, because they were quite confused when I told them that they could color any color they wanted to, because a big thing in kindergarten is learning to color based off of real life. And so when I told them that they could color their person's hair purple, they were like, "Miss Snow, we can't do that. What are you talking about?" So it's important. It would be important for me to explain Picasso a little bit more, just so they have a better understanding. What did I learn from teaching this lesson? I learned that kindergartners are not perfect in any means. I know that this lesson would have gone a lot differently if it was with a 5th grade classroom rather than a kindergarten classroom. They are impatient. They do not want to have to sit through and watch a video, because I modeled the drawing, but I was thinking about doing a video, and the video was around 10 minutes long, and I was like, no, there's no way they will be able to sit through a 10-minute lesson. So it's really just the fact of keeping them engaged, keeping them interested, and I want to make sure that I add more understanding for them why they are learning about Picasso, especially in kindergarten. So from the arts, I learned how Picasso paintings work. I mean, I know of Picasso, I know of him, I've learned a little bit about him in school, but I never really knew what his style was, which is kind of sad for me to say because I am an arts person, I'm a dance teacher, but I never really learned about more than just who he was. So I was able to learn more about Picasso and his style, and I was able to show students, you know, his style, and that helped them create a better understanding. They don't understand it, but they know that it's a form of art now. And teaching, what did I learn from teaching this lesson? Kindergartners are not perfect. Their work is not always going to be how you expect it to turn out. Some of them are not going to listen. They're not going to want to do the lesson. But it's important about just keeping them motivated and keeping them engaged. And I did this comes into the next question. I did this by telling them, I initially started the lesson by telling them, okay guys, this is something really important for my school, and we're going to be working on something really cool that you guys will learn about later on, and this is something that even 5th graders are doing. That's what I told them. So it got them really excited, and it also kept them engaged by modeling it for them so that they weren't stuck, and I was able to show them, you know, step by step what they needed to do. Another thing that got them, you know, motivated and excited was they were getting to color unrealistically. They are so over coloring with peach and yellow and brown for a person. They were super excited to be able to color with red and green and purple and blue, and they absolutely loved it. They had a lot of fun being able to color it. So overall, the lesson went really well. You know, kindergartners aren't perfect. They're very fun and exciting, so it definitely went well. But I did learn quite a bit about teaching art and how important it is for students to be able to express themselves. But yeah, bye.